Before I get into this, let me just say I'm not here to try and character assassinate Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, or anyone else associated with Channel Awesome. This is going to be my opinion as usual, but we're going to be looking at the controversy surrounding Channel Awesome and its affiliates. Recently, former contributors of ThatGuyWithTheGlasses.com, which is now rebranded as Channel Awesome, have stepped forward once again voicing their concerns and issues with the management. Mike Michaud, former administrator and current CEO of the website, Rob Walker, creative content officer, and Doug Walker, the face and main talent on the site. A 73-page Google document was released listing the problems several creators experienced while being involved at That Guy With The Glasses. Many of the people associated with the site have either left and tried to pursue alternative platforms to use, and a few have stayed either by contract or in hopes of seeking improvement. So some context to those who may not know what I'm talking about. Back in 2008, the website That Guy With The Glasses was created after Doug Walker got sick of YouTube's policies on copyright, trying to create his own video sharing site where he would be more lax. Eventually, it formed into a team of different producers arriving to create and share their content to receive more trafficking to the website. These people volunteered their time at this and were not technically employed by anyone at the site, so they were not compensated with pay, but instead given exposure and a platform in return for their contribution. They, alongside other online personalities like the Angry Video Game Nerd, basically helped pioneer online reviewing today, although some concepts that were used in these old reviews haven't exactly aged too well. Oh no, the evil version of me, Theistic Plague Doctor, here to take over my channel again, are you?
Yes, and when I destroy you and take over
Okay, yeah, no, we're actually not continuing the stupid fucking joke. People get it, go fuck yourself. Don't come back, but yeah, the point being is that this will be a common concept that would interrupt the video. So one continuous problem that has gone on for years keeps being that Doug Walker hogs a lot of the limelight and does not allow room for other creators to breathe. The consensus has been that it's always and forever shall be the Nostalgia Critic and Friends show when it wasn't supposed to be that.
Anyway, Mike Ellis fucking gets shit canned. They fucking kick him out of the company he helped to create, which, you know, probably a fucked up story there, but I don't know what it is, so I'm not gonna fucking comment. But Mike Ellis had this fucking philosophy about, he didn't just want it to be the Nostalgia Critic and everybody else. He wanted to build stars up on the site. He didn't just want it to be like the Doug Walker show. Doug Walker is the Nostalgia Critic. He didn't just want it to be the Doug Walker show. He wanted it to be everybody's show. You know, and he wanted to fucking, rise all the talent through the ranks. And when he was in charge of putting my videos up, he always, he didn't fucking push me to the top because we were friends, but he always gave me the position I deserve based on the amount of views I was getting. You know, if I got more views than someone, then I was billed over them. You know, just like if, Metallica plays a show with Nickelback, Metallica's the fucking headliner because they're a more fucking popular band. So he, and if I was playing against someone who got better views than me, I was under them, That's how it fucking worked, and that was fair.
We can also look to the anniversary movies, especially the third one, to see that there may just be some ego there. The anniversary movies were made for the fans as a thank you and to celebrate, however, not many people enjoyed them. They were made fun of by various fans and detractors alike, putting in perspective that while these people were able to critique and pick apart movies for their flaws, they would take part in films that most have equated to The Room. And speaking of The Room, Doug Walker even kind of pulled a Tommy Was So Moved and openly mocking these films, trying to join in on the laughs when the laughs were more at his expense. While I will say they did improve over time with better lighting, better camera work and effects, a common problem throughout all three films, in Kick-Assia, Suburban Nights, and To Boldly Flee, was again Doug being center stage. Many of these characters are just there to tell a very mad joke while we don't get to know much about them. Like, it would have been a good way to showcase some of the more lesser known people on the site, cause I don't know about you, but I didn't watch every single person who was on there. When To Boldly Flee came out, it was supposed to be a final farewell to fans as a Nostalgia Critic, as well as to the other characters there, though apparently most didn't know that going in. This later brings us to Doug's attempt at a different show called Demo Reel, which didn't get the most positive response, mostly consisting of skits that many fans didn't find too appealing, only going for about 4 to 5 months. After the failure of Demo Reel, they decided to bring back the Critic because it was more successful, made them more money, and Doug could be pretty good at it. So Nostalgia Critic is back reviewing movies. He comes back after the video The Review Must Go On, in which Doug sacrifices the character of Donnie from Demo Reel to become the critic again, and upon returning reviews the film The Secret Life of Timothy Green. Soon the channel League of Super Critics was made to upload Doug and others' videos on YouTube. They were also uploading to Blip.tv before it was shut down. Dozens of responses from fans and creators alike recently surged in attempts to try and change the channel because similar concerns and issues have been repeating for years that don't get fixed. Slowly, contributors have left throughout the years or were kicked off due to any number of reasons that management saw fit. Allison Pregler, aka Obscurus Lupa, was fired from the site years ago for being 15 minutes late to a Skype call.
As for what happened with me, it was very public. In 2015, I was kicked off of the site because I called them out on their hypocrisy with Patreon. They were telling us that we couldn't promote it, that we couldn't have links for it, and eventually they conceded that we can put bumpers in the videos about them. But they didn't tell us about the links. They weren't communicative about what we could do. So when I told them that the thing that they told me about adding links was that it was a slap to the face to fans, that it was e-begging, I asked for an apology because the way that they handled it was really poor. And Mike was really standing his ground on this. They never admit any fault in anything. And he asked me if I could be in a call, and I said no because I was very heated. I didn't want to get into a conversation in that state of mind. And I went to go film something, and a couple hours later, he and Doug tried to get me into a Skype call to discuss this, presumably to say what they were going to say anyway. And 15 minutes later, they tell me because I'm ignoring them that they are taking me off the site, and my stuff was immediately removed. So essentially, what they told me was they were letting me go because I wasn't at the computer for 15 minutes. So when all of this happened, I left the site and some other people had left the site, Phelan left the site, there was a whole mass exodus. And we did posts about this, I blogged about this. I told everyone exactly what happened and my experiences on the site. And some people were really upset about this, and some producers were really upset about this.
A few weeks ago, Linkara, aka Lewis Lovehog, one of the site's longest members, publicly stated that he was leaving Channel Awesome and linked to the document on his own website, atop of the fourth wall. A condensed version of this document was released, though I do suggest reading the full one in its entirety, but this version goes over the major problems that everyone had, and it's only 6 pages long. Listing it down to 11 problems in the condensed version, Channel Awesome only responded to a few of these, which, yes, they have responded twice, but we'll get into that a little later. So let's go through and read this. I'll also be bringing up some things in the full version, but links will be provided if you want to take the time to check it out. The following is a list of all major grievances put forward by producers who work or have worked at Channel Awesome. Each entry will contain a parent thesis that directs the reader to the author of the full account found here. Mike Mashad, current CEO of Channel Awesome, has a history of being unprofessional, aggressive, immature, difficult, and misogynistic. The management of Channel Awesome was aware of sexual misconduct and abuse instigated by Mike Ellis, the CFO at the time, and enacted no disciplinary action until over a year later. They were also aware of sexual misconduct by another producer years later, again not acting for over a year. At least 3 victims have come forward and requested the offender's name not be printed. Doug Walker, the nostalgia critic, is considered talent and not acting in any managerial role, yet has been involved in many company decisions and knew what management knew, as far as is known. He also made sweeping decisions regarding the site that had the potential to drastically affect the income of many producers without consulting them beforehand. Management of the site was of poor quality, particularly in regards to communication, organization, rule consistency, payment, and transparency. Multiple attempts to bring serious concerns to management regarding this were met with very few, usually minimal attempts at repair. At least one staff member was asked to work every single day with no holidays or weekends. She was terminated with no given reason and forced to sign an exclusivity contract barring her from working in the industry for 3 years at the risk of losing her severance pay. When Channel Awesome ran a crowdfunding campaign, it was so mismanaged that they were threatened with investigation by Indiegogo. They then canceled the funded show after 12 episodes of a promised 40. The filming of anniversary movies and crossovers, though enjoyed by many producers as a great opportunity and experience, was also fraught with multiple examples of inadequate planning and unprofessional behavior, going beyond a simple lack of experience. To boldly flee in particular was not a pleasant experience for a large number of cast and crew. Channel Awesome's management has a history of threatening to drop producers for saying things that they felt would make them look bad on social media and in videos even when no rules were broken and they weren't mentioned. In 2013, 2013, there was a big push by many producers to fix the problems with communication and address the possible financial concerns surrounding the sudden loss of the Nostalgia Critic videos. A written document was presented to them, but as mentioned above, many points were either ignored, laughed off, or addressed minimally. Management had a contentious relationship with producers who tried to increase their revenue via increasing ads or starting up a Patreon. The former was viewed as encouraging ad block, and the latter was viewed as e-begging. There has been a persuasive feeling amongst the long-term producers that they are no longer valued or appreciated, and that Channel Awesome cares only for their in-house development. This has been exacerbated by Channel Awesome simply purging the site of any producer that asked to leave without announcement, where before there was heartfelt posts or even goodbye videos. So I understand people are going to be taking what's in this document with a grain of salt, as they should, but as a person who was once a fan, still kinda is of certain ones who are still around, this has been a pattern. Certain issues like these have been brought up before and sort of swept under the rug. Now, members were treated differently, that's a fact. There were people like Phalis who decided to leave, mentioning the lack of communication, the shit talking behind people's backs. But then there are others like Todd in the Shadows who simply says he's just proud to have worked there and he really has no stories he wishes to tell. In hearing how people were outraged with the site, seeing many more talents leaving, Channel Awesome came out with two responses to these allegations. One goal in the Google document was to seek acknowledgement and an apology from them, which they got one of those two things. The first one is very brief, but the second one expands a bit more on the complaints, although doesn't address most of them. Let's take a look at the first one. We wanted to take a moment to clear the air and acknowledge some of the recent public concerns raised by content creators previously associated with Channel Awesome. Channel Awesome is an organization that respects our producer partners and strives to create the best possible environment for everyone. We welcome a diverse community of people joining together to create great videos. For the people who have spoken out about past instances they deemed hurtful or unprofessional, we sincerely regret you felt that way. Our priority has always been to help content partners succeed and provide people with a vehicle to follow their dreams. When the need arose, we distanced ourselves from people who were particularly callous, letting go of significant stakeholders in the interest of keeping our mission at the forefront. We appreciate and hear the frustrations of past producers. We are actively taking internal steps to better improve communication with our producers so they can be focused on putting out their great content. And we're open to constructive criticism, the kind that can help us become even better and serve the needs of our community. But criticism that isn't a means to a productive end does little for either the party criticizing or those in the line of fire. Our focus now is moving forward with the wonderful team we have and all of our dedicated followers. We thank our content creators, team, and fans for truly making our channel awesome. Here's to creating something even better in the future. Okay, so I think most of us can agree this is kind of a nothing response. We sincerely regret you felt that way. Kind of backhanded there, huh? There is no apology here. The only thing of substance is them talking about how they're gonna fix communications. Other than that, they're basically saying everything here is fine, and that's on you guys if you felt like that. The second response goes more into some of the problems and giving their take on the situation, and again, the internet is not taking it too kindly. Since the posting of the Not So Awesome document on Monday, April 2nd, 2018, we have been exploring all of our options on how to address the lies that have been alleged by multiple disgruntled individuals with vindictive intentions. Channel Awesome has always tried to keep our dealings with our content partners out of the public eye, and despite any differences or disagreements, we have never publicly spoken negatively about any of them, but a response to the accusations leveled against us must happen. Obviously, we cannot address all 73 plus pages of accusations against us in this forum, but we will address the most egregious now. Wow, the lies that have been alleged by multiple disgruntled individuals with vindictive intentions. Already off to a great fucking start with this. Okay, so fair, I guess. You can't address every single solitary point of the 72-page document down to the gnat's ass. Sure, I'm not expecting you to do that. But to call them liars, disgruntled, and vindictive, when most of them go into how proud they were to be part of the site as long as they were, and wished for it to get better, that's being vindictive, huh? Then the next thing you do is paint yourself in a good light, talk about how responsible and professional you are. Sure, okay. I also think it's funny that we have accusation and fact when really it should be accusation and statement, because that's more appropriate after reading this. Accusation: Jane Doe accuses us of knowing about a sexual deviant for over a year, page 66. Fact: the screenshot below clearly demonstrates the time elapsed from being made aware of the individual in question, name redacted for legal reasons, and the time the content partner was released from Channel Awesome. 3 weeks, not over a year. During the 3-week period, we consulted a lawyer and waited to see if anyone would come directly to us, as our only knowledge of this was secondhand. It is obvious the person person who came forward with this in the not so awesome document wants their name protected, so we will continue to do so. The person in question here whose name has been redacted has been revealed, and out of respect I kind of don't want to say the name, but due to context and it already being out there, I don't think me saying who it is will really affect anything. It is alleged that Justin Jew Wario Carmichael, who committed suicide at age 42, is the person mentioned in this. The information was out, so I'm just stating it for context. Even in the response, you can tell they kind of don't hide the name as well as they could have. Frederick Nunson, infamous for his Down the Rabbit Hole series, points out in his live stream that you can see the J in the name and the length would fit for Justin, so yeah, oops. Accusation: Sean Foz accuses former Channel Awesome COO and founder Michael Ellis of a conversation of sexual nature that lasted over 2 hours, page 49 and 50. Fact: Michael Ellis resigned from the company and no contact from Michael Ellis was attempted after the conversation was reported to Michael Mashad. With any termination involving a founder and shareholder, legal separation must happen, and this takes time. This went on for 2 hours. For these 2 hours, I typed not one word to him, but he had this entire conversation with himself, and multiple times he tried the whole "sorry, didn't mean to scare you off" tactic on me, as if it was going to make things better. I showed this conversation log to 2 people. I believe I showed part of it to Rollo T, because I was freaked the fuck out and he was the guy I trusted the most, and I remember him being completely blown away. I messaged Mashad telling him, "Look what this guy is doing, I'm super freaked out." And keep in mind, I believe this was before the anniversary brawl. The only thing I ever heard from Mashad was, "Damn it, I told him he couldn't be doing this shit. I'll take care of it." And then it was never spoken of again. I never heard from Ellis again, and I have zero idea if that was part of the reason he was fired from the company or not. So then it happened. I mean, I don't get what you're saying here, because you're saying you didn't try contacting him about it after finding out what had happened? And is that the reason Mike Ellis left, because of that? This implies Mashad having a history knowing this kind of behavior with Mike Ellis. So I don't know, but again, this is a nothing answer really. Accusation: multiple content partners state payment for their contributions to the site were not compensated. Fact: from the beginning of the site, anyone that has been added as a content partner was informed that ChannelAwesome.com was an aggregator for their content. At no time did Channel Awesome take a cut of their videos, as the practice is with multi-channel networks, MCN. We never wanted to be an MCN and only asked them to schedule their videos that they already were doing for Blip.tv and YouTube. We gave them access to over 30 million page views and over 1 million unique viewers a month at our height. Channel Awesome viewed the partnership as a way to help content partners grow their audience while bringing in new content and increasing the community within the site. Further benefiting content partners, Channel Awesome covered all costs associated with server, hosting, and labor costs associated with maintenance and updates. Some content partners even had their servers for their own sites paid for by Channel Awesome. None of these costs were ever passed along to our content partners. Right here, we gave them access to over 30 million page views and over 1 million unique viewers. Ah yes, the old dangle this over your head and make you feel bad about it, like you should be grateful. Even though most are, they've said that in their videos.
I want to say thank you for Channel Awesome giving me an audience, for them giving me so many lifelong friends. There's so many people that I met there that are going to be my friends for the rest of my life. I met my boyfriend through that site. There are memories there that I wouldn't take back for the world. So there are so many great memories associated with being with Channel Awesome.
Channel Awesome covered all costs associated with server, hosting, and labor costs associated with maintenance and updates. What would be the incentive to join your website if they had to cover all those costs? They shouldn't have to. It's your product, your website, you're managing it. Yes, you are responsible for those things, not others. Nor should you try and use this to make yourselves look like the good guys, because that's like the CEO of YouTube saying we should be grateful that they don't charge us for uploading to their site. You know, Mike Mashad kind of has a history of using this guilt tactic. Mike in particular liked to state how great it was that they embedded, not hosted, our videos and never asked for a cut of our revenue. I wonder who wrote this response. Mike Mashad maybe? I don't know, but I mean, for all we know, all 3 of them could have wrote this. Accusation: the document talks about the drop in traffic to the site. Fact: while we did have an initial drop after the switch to demo reel, the real hit to the site's traffic came from our growing presence on YouTube. When we relaunched the Nostalgia Critics show in January of 2013, Blip.tv decided to start placing the full episodes up on the League of Super Critics channel a week after we launched it on thatguywiththeglasses.com. As we grew on League of Super Critics, more and more viewers decided to watch it on YouTube instead of our site. The biggest blow to site traffic came before the downfall of Blip.tv. While we won't go into full details, we were forced to abandon the League of Super Critics channel and instantly start a channel That Awesome in May of 2015. This is the point when traffic began to quickly drop off our site, now ChannelAwesome.com. One of the biggest accusers stated that they might still be on the site if the views were there, as stated by Kaylin below. I've stated this a few times elsewhere, but had he decided to wean his audience onto demo reel rather than just suddenly hard-stopping Nostalgia Critic to literally everyone's surprise, maybe it could have done well, and maybe we'd still be relying on channelawesome.com for some of our views, because once To Boldly Flee happened and there was no more Nostalgia Critic, viewership plummeted. Not just for Doug, but for everyone, because people quit showing up to the site. If he had slowly introduced people to demo reel, maybe even with the characters as a side gag attached to the Nostalgia Critic, then spun them off on their new show featuring these characters you know from Nostalgia Critic, then it might have worked. Then maybe this would have never happened. But it did, and the way To Boldly Flee was written and how the death of the Nostalgia Critic was executed, here we are today. Well, killing off the Nostalgia Critic and replacing it with demo reel certainly didn't help anything to the site. Maybe it's the primary reason why views dropped for a bit, maybe it's because of Blip.tv and the League of Super Critics, I don't really know, I don't really see the point either. Accusation: multiple content partners have alleged our anniversary specials were not compensated for time worked, and crossover videos were asked to be turned over if filmed to Channel Awesome. Fact: when invitations for the anniversary specials were issued, we made it clear for all content partners that their participation was on a voluntary basis. In addition, content partners were always given the option of declining our invitation with no questions asked and no repercussions. We understood we were asking our content partners to give up their time, and that not everyone could do that. The producer contract for Channel Awesome 3rd anniversary film participation also outlines the following terms and conditions for those who did agree to participate, including: participation was voluntary, crossovers were never required. Channel Awesome will not be held liable for any injuries sustained during the filming of this production. Channel Awesome will also not be held responsible for any items lost, damaged, or broken. Channel Awesome producers are participating of their own volition and may opt out of participating by refusing to sign this contract or by contacting CEO Mike Machad, CCO Robert Walker, or HR Holly Brown. All participants in the 30-year anniversary video may participate in or film crossover videos with other attending producers. While highly encouraged, this process is strictly voluntary, and failure to do so will not in any way affect Channel Awesome's view of attending producers. However, any crossover videos, shows, or vlogs filmed during the course of this event will become the strict property of Channel Awesome. Channel Awesome reserves the rights to deal with these videos when it sees fit, and to assume any monetary benefit from the publication of said videos via Blip, other multimedia, or DVD sales. These crossover videos will be used to recoup cost of lodging, travel, logistics, and production. Any questions may be addressed to CEO Mike Machad, CCO Robert Walker, or HR Holly Brown before and or after signing. However, after signing, the contract is binding and no decisions will be reversed. Why would you need their side content though? Some that don't involve the project at all during the filming of this. Really? To break even? Well, it seems like you should be the ones covering lodging, travel, and production, not the people who are volunteering their time and not getting compensated anyway. It seems like Channel Awesome is getting more out of this contract than the person signing it, which I wouldn't have signed it, to be honest. What are the benefits here other than to be in your movie that's all about you? Essentially, these people are helping to fund this movie in some way, shape, or form here, especially when you're not using the DVD or art sales to compensate for the money you used in production, which, if you're going to make a movie, should have covered. This comes across as pretty greedy in my opinion, so don't know if this helps your case any. Accusation: a few content partners allege a misogynistic work atmosphere by Channel Awesome. Fact: Channel Awesome's current and former female staff, including Tamara Chambers, Rachel Tice, Iana Wade, and Heather Rios, have had vastly different experiences than the ones described. We are always trying to improve ourselves both personally and professionally, and moving forward, we will implement mandatory sensitivity training for all staff to ensure we maintain a culture of respect for all employees. Yeah, ask our paid staff who by default were treated differently. 1, they're not volunteering. 2, they're part of the Chicago crew that go to a studio where management is actually located. 3, they have an easier time getting in touch with management than these producers. They were treated differently and had different experiences than these producers, so you can't really compare them here. And so what? So because these few people had a good time, that discredits the majority's negative experiences there? Accusation: Holly Brown makes numerous accusations throughout the document. Fact: Holly Brown is a former employee and shareholder who was allowed to resign. Unfortunately, her accusations are not true and are vindictive in nature. No further comments on that? Nothing to back up that she's lying and being vindictive? Holly states that she was let go at Channel Awesome. She tweeted a conversation she had with Rob Walker regarding this. They're going with her resigning, much like with Mike Ellis, but he too was let go from the company. Accusation: Holly Brown alleges CEO Michael Machad is sole owner of the Nostalgia Critic IP. Fact: the IP is owned by Channel Awesome Inc. The partnership is owned by 4 individuals with a 5th person joining ownership by the end of the year. But Mike Machad is said to be the majority shareholder, which doesn't really matter if it's co-founded if he has the majority say and owns most of Channel Awesome. So yes, if he owns the majority majority of Channel Awesome, then he owns the Nostalgia Critic since it's owned by Channel Awesome. Unless he isn't the majority shareholder, but seems like he's the one calling most of the shots. Accusation: Holly Brown alleges Channel Awesome had her work during to boldly flee after her surgery. Fact: during this time, Robert Walker, Doug Walker, and Michael Machad told her she did not have to work. Here they show a conversation between Mike, Holly, Rob, and Doug, so again, they could be telling the truth on this. Can't really comment too much other than what is said in the document. She was still there to help with production, so whether or not she went on her own free will is still unknown. Accusation: Lindsay Ellis alleges Doug Walker and Channel Awesome ignored concerns regarding the transformation scene. Fact: as the screenshot below shows, Lindsay was repeatedly asked for her opinion and approval of the scene before it was finalized. So with this accusation, Lindsay Ellis, aka the Nostalgia Chick, had a scene in the 3rd anniversary movie To Boldly Flee, where it's heavily implied that Linkara rapes the Nostalgia Chick off screen. In the original script, it was much more blatant than in the final version. However, both of them said they had an issue with it. Linkara took to Twitter about this, stating how they don't include him in this response, which, yeah, I was wondering the same thing when I read it. Accusation: Lindsay Ellis alleges Channel Awesome did not do enough to protect female content partners from abusive commenters. Fact: Channel Awesome has a strict policy regarding our community, including IP banning all abusive posters, as well as banning their account via username and email, and continuing to monitor our forum. We worked with Lindsay directly to help her address issues resulting from an abusive commenter. This could be true as well. I'm honestly gonna have to take them at their word here. I would hope they be on top of their game concerning things like this. Accusation: Allison Pregler states not a single person wasn't miserable. Fact: in this video, you'll find Allison says that it was a great production to be part of. It was a lot of fun to be part of this and Suburban Nights.
I don't know if you want this for behind the scenes thing, but I thought I would just add, that it was a great production to be a part of. It was a lot of fun to be part of this and Suburban Nights. I hope that future projects are in the works and that, all of us get to work together again. I love being a part of this site, a part of these productions, and it truly is really the highlight of this year and last year. Getting to spend time with such great people and do what I love doing most, and that's entertaining people and creating things.
Okay, so as an example, an actor being behind the scenes or being interviewed for a production will usually say good things about the product that they're participating in. Of course, she's going to be saying good things about it after already being in it and making this clip specifically for the film. It seems counterintuitive to say how bad it was or the problems you had with it right then and there. Plus, this doesn't apply to others who are a part of it. Accusation: multiple content partners addressed the lack of communication. Fact: we agree communication could have and should have been better. We got into this business based off of our passion for content creation and have many growing pains over the years. We always strive to learn from our mistakes and strengthen our skills. Have we made mistakes? Yes, we have. We even discussed some of our challenges in our behind the scenes videos. We've always focused on trying to entertain our viewers, shine spotlights on unknown talent, and share our attention with various charities, and we hope to continue to do so moving forward. Well, at least you admit that there's mistakes and lack of communication, because there seems to be. Apparently communication was so bad there that many producers have talked about the groups that formed amongst them having this high school level atmosphere.
I understand the need to keep secrets from the outside, keep the surprise, but when you're keeping secrets internally and making people guess and ask and find out, then you're going to create divides and you're going to create cliques and tension. So it just makes no sense that you would choose to go down that route.
But I can't really speak about bad personal experiences with management. However, one of the other things that's coming up is the cliquish high school nature among the producers themselves. Now that I can talk about at length.
There are not many spotlights left to shine on anyone. The small number of creators who decided to stay are slowly walking away. The only few partners left who are still there are Angry Joe, Cinema Snob, Guru, Larry, and Cinemassacre. Oh wait, except it looks like Angry Joe has left too, and it looks like Brad might because he took off the association with Channel Awesome on his Twitter. So only like 1 or 2 people are left out of the dozens who were there? Ouch. But that was their response as of now. Whether or not they'll have further comments on this remains to be seen. Hopefully these issues can get resolved. If not, then if Channel Awesome goes under, I'm sure they'll rebrand themselves as something else, more than likely pushing the Nostalgia Critic again. But who knows? There were things from the document that weren't brought up in this, so I don't know where they stand on a few of these points. Like Lindsay Ellis brought up that during the filming of Kickassia, they were not provided catering on set until after it was brought up. No water nor food was provided prior filming filming until after Noah Antweiler, aka the Spoony One, had to step in with Lindsay and tell Doug and Rob that it's par for the course in any filming scenario. Which, being a person who partook in short films, I can agree. The filming of Kickassia took place in Nevada in the desert, and no one thought, maybe some water and food would be something to bring out here. That's just utterly ridiculous. Yet they remained silent on that. The big one for me is the game show Pop Quiz Hot Shot, in where Channel Awesome raised money for a new game show. They received almost $90,000 in backing versus a $50,000 goal on Indiegogo. Indiegogo was even going to go through an investigation with them, but they released one season because that was the legal requirement. I can say after watching that season that it's not worth $90,000 to make, as it's extremely cheap, going from literal cardboard cutouts to sad MS Paint animation. The contestants were usually fans who were selected by sending in their videos, and the prizes were not that much. The most was like a $200 cash prize on episode 4, but every time it's usually $100 to $150 cash prizes, and there was one winner each episode. The most expensive stuff seemed to be the buzzers, score counters, microphones, and the studio, but all of that should still not add up to that amount of money needed. So I'm puzzled to where the rest of that went. Plus, it sucked, it wasn't really funny, contestants were kinda cringy at times, and I think they had a live studio audience, but I'm not sure. They never cut to them, and a lot of times they're awkwardly silent.
Welcome to Pop Quiz Hot Shot, where the contestants are kidnapped, the winner gets money, but the loser dies. If you think that's way too dark or intense, you're gonna love the rest of the internet. We have here Ryan. Now, Ryan, it says here that you do a bunch of various voices.
Like I totally can, man. It's really quite easy.
Was that Shaggy, or was your voice really breaking there?
That was Shaggy.
There's your voice, okay. It also says you do a very good Chewbacca. Was that a mating call?
Maybe.
Very frightening, well done.
They didn't feel like addressing that though, so I guess that's kind of brushed aside too. Look, I'm not trying to villainize Channel Awesome, I stood with them with Where's the Fair Use?
I'm the nostalgia critic. Where's the fair use?
And them donating to various charities, that's all good, but you can't keep ignoring the complaints people have here, especially when they're reoccurring and that noticeable. Change eventually has to happen, like with any management, with any business. But that brings us to the conclusion of this video. What do you guys think of this? What's your opinion? Please let me know. This video went on pretty long, but there's a lot of shit attached to this, and I have a feeling it's not over yet. I'm sure there's some stuff I missed along the way, but information will be provided below, granted if you even care about any of this. But if you do, leave your thoughts. As always, I appreciate everyone for watching. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later in my next video. So before I go, just an update. It seems like Cinemassacre has pulled partnership from Channel Awesome, so it's literally down to these two, and I don't see them sticking around for much longer. It's now speculated that Doug, the face of it all, might actually be leaving Channel Awesome. On his Facebook, people are pointing out that he edited his place of work to work at Channel Awesome, so I don't know what's gonna happen there, but again, there's probably more to come. But this once plentiful bastion of entertainment and creators has now shriveled into a husk of its former self. Sad, Channel Awesome, truly fucking sad indeed.
Ow.